Hi, I'm Matthew.
And I'm Milan. We were both affected by life threatening medical conditions during our early teenage years, and both received wishes from the Make a Wish Foundation.
After our wishes were granted, Milan and I both joined the Make-A-Wish Youth Board, where we met and decided to start our podcast, The Wish Kids.
Our podcast highlights experiences and life from a sick kid's point of view and offers more insight into the magic of a Make a Wish.
Welcome to The Wish Kids.
Happy Friday!
Happy Friday. Glad to be here. Glad to be done with the week and getting ready for this weekend.
Yes, I'm super excited. I need to relax and just like kind of chill, you know?
Yeah, good time for a little mental health break. I feel like it's been a long week. It's been a long few weeks, and I don't know, something about this weekend coming up feels special to me. It's like I need it to be a nothing weekend so bad.
What does a nothing weekend look like to you?
A lot of pajamas and a lot of snacks and a lot of sitting on the couch.
Do you
And
have like one go-to snack that you're looking forward to this weekend?
ooh, I really like when other people make popcorn
Okay.
because I never make it myself. It's one of those things I just in my head I'm like I don't like popcorn, and then when someone else makes popcorn, I'm like ooh popcorn. Um,
Yes, the smell when it's like being made is just, it's like coffee. Like coffee smells so good when it's made. I don't drink coffee, but it smells good. So,
yeah, popcorn, just like homemade popcorn too, with like not in the bag, just with kernels. My roommates have a popcorn maker they put on the counter every once in a while. It's
ooh,
just like oh, it when they make it, I'm like well, if you're making some, I'll
all your
grab some.
worries just go away.
Yeah, so I might try to like kind of like Inception, like reverse psychology, get them to make a little bit of popcorn for me this weekend at some point. Um, but very much looking forward to a little stress relief, little mental health break, little this, little that, little relaxation.
Yeah, it's very essential to relax, and I think that's like what we've always been very big promoters of is relaxing and mental health and wellness and just taking time for yourself and recognizing, when you do need a mental health break and like just talking with your doctor if you ever recognize that like your mental health definitely needs to be evaluated or discussed more. And um I don't know, I think that's like just something we've always held of high importance.
Yeah, talking to someone is huge. I like that you said that, to a doctor or just a friend you can trust. And I didn't really start having talks about mental health or like discussions with friends till really like last year was the first time I feel like, which is I know it seems like pretty late. It just never I don't know. It never was like it's never a comfortable conversation, and I don't think it was until last year that I realized like even though it's not comfortable, it's important to have these conversations with others, with yourself, and just tell yourself like, hey, we're gonna talk about this today, and do it. And it helps a lot to just talk with people and have these open discussions, express your feelings, express what you're afraid of, express what you're looking forward to, and just express how you feel mentally.
Yeah, it's really hard to be vulnerable, so I'm glad you like were finally able to get to that point with your friends because I mean it is kind of really hard to establish the trust to be able to have those more deep conversations about life and what you're experiencing. And I think growing up as people who had critical illnesses, we definitely experience needing to have an outlet that wasn't necessarily just always talking to somebody because it is hard to talk about what you've already gone through and it's like I don't want to think about that and then just trying to like filter your feelings and thoughts and just finding something to relax with into something else. So like do you have anything that you do that typically like helps you relax outside of talking to friends because while that is important it's not always easy to establish that trust.
Yeah, I do think those conversations are like great though in general because I've found I definitely have friends who I have a tougher time kind of cracking their shell, you know? It's
Yes.
like there's less of those real conversations, and I love having just like not so much shallow conversations, but like silly conversations where it's like you just hang out with a friend, and then maybe at one point I'll be like, hey, like I'll just ask them like, how are you? And like I'll whatever answer I get out, I'm like, awesome. Like we talked a little bit about it. That's like probably as far as we'll go today, but like that's great to do. But in terms of other stuff, I mean, I said I love just sitting on the couch
Yeah.
and doing that. That's a must for me, at least like once a week, to spend just a few hours like in a day, or even just a whole afternoon, especially like during football season. Just on a Sunday, I'll just sit there from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. Just won't move a muscle. All you have to make some food and then go back to the couch. But I know it's not for everyone. I know some people love to go out and do things. They have to be like, in order to heal their mind and their soul, they need to be active and doing stuff. I don't know if you have other active things.
Yeah, well, okay. I have to agree with you though. Like sometimes just sitting down on the couch is what you need. And it's so essential because like it'll be such a busy week and such a busy day or something, and then just being able to be like I have no more commitments, or even just like a 30-minute break, 15 minutes just to like sit and regroup is so nice.
Enough
But
to even just like take a deep breath. I feel like that is a huge,
yes.
because you'll all sit and it won't be for like 5 or 10 minutes that I realize I'm still like tense, like my body is clenched, and then I'll just force myself like huge inhale, huge exhale, and be like, whoa, like I just sunk like 5 inches deeper into the couch. Like
You
I,
can feel your body like being like, okay, I'm good, I'm safe, I'm ready to like relax now.
Mhm.
Yeah. I as much as I do like sitting on the couch, I don't know if I it's my go-to outside of like other things. I really like yoga. I've talked about yoga a lot on the podcast. But I just feel like it's been really great to like get your body moving, get and then it's not like in an intense way where it's like I'm doing cardio, I am breaking a sweat. It's just like really peaceful. You start getting in touch with your body and you slow down. And it's almost like just an active form of meditation for me, which I feel like, meditating is always really essential for like meditating in your own way. You don't have to do the whole like sit and it's like, I don't know. There's just different ways to meditate, and that's kind of my way. But also like sometimes I go for a walk. I don't know. I feel like you're kind of a walker.
I'm a big walker. I love going for walks. I feel like a dog saying that, but like I legitimately love just taking a stroll down the street. I said it last week in our, I think, our red flags segment. People who prefer runs over walks. I mean, but runs is a great way to relieve stress also, because like you said, it's like that faster paced
Mhm.
cardio, moving. I feel like, yeah, going to the gym. A lot of people do that for stress relief, just to, like lift something heavy, like to like
Yeah.
feel like you're like pushing something. Or when you run, you push yourself. But for me, I love, a big part of stress relief for me is definitely just like slowing down. I feel like when I'm stressed, when I'm anxious, when I'm doing a lot of work, I'm very go, 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 very fast, like lots of wheels spinning. And then just like be able to slow down, take a little stroll, stop at the corner and like look at the flowers, turn around, look at the clouds, look at some tall buildings. That is a huge, huge thing for me. I really like what you said though about meditation too, and like finding your own meditation, because
Mhm.
I definitely do that as well. Where like, I'm not one to sit still and crisscross applesauce,
Yeah.
like close my eyes. But at the same time, I will like sit in a chair and just like close my eyes in a chair and like, especially outdoors, if like on a bench somewhere, I'll like close my
Ooh.
eyes for like a minute or two and just like take in the surroundings, breathe, and like meditate in that way, which I really, really enjoy doing that.
Something you mentioned when you were talking about your walks is a kind of a little technique that I don't know if you do like intentionally, but either way, it is actually like a technique that people suggest when you are feeling very anxious, that it's called grounding, where you start like looking around your surroundings and you're like, you're gonna find five blue things, which is pretty easy for me, but it's like you find like five things that you can like touch, two things you can smell or something like that, and you start becoming aware, and it like relaxes your body because it starts recognizing like what's in your surrounding area if you're ever anxious. And I
Oh,
you mentioned that and I just was like, that's actually really cool that you like subconsciously kind of like do that for yourself. You're like, oh
yeah.
hey, there's a building.
I like that a lot. No, I definitely don't do it on, yeah, on purpose. I do look around on purpose, but I don't like look for things to look for. I just, where my eyes guide me, I'm like, yeah, like that's nice. Like, yeah,
Becoming
definitely.
aware of your surroundings, I think, does alleviate though a lot of anxiety for like just any person, and that's just great that you kind of just naturally do that.
Yeah, and it's definitely there's definitely like some familiar walks I'll go on if I want something I know, or I do really enjoy the new adventurous, diverse walk where it's like, let's take a left on this street instead of going right, or what if I just keep going straight?
Have you
Uh,
ever gotten lost?
yeah, a few times I've had to pull out
Okay.
Google Maps. I always bring my phone with me just in case. I never go like far enough that I'm like going to be completely lost. I usually typically know like the general direction of home.
Okay.
Um, but there have been a few times I'm like, is it to the right here? Did I already pass it? I did. Yeah, I was walking a pretty far distance a few weeks ago. Actually, I walked I think like 7 miles, just because I was bored and wanted to go for a walk. And there was like a freeway underpass I was supposed to go under to get to the street I wanted to go to, but I missed it, and so then I had to walk an extra like mile to get to the next underpass of the freeway. I was like, well, that's all right, I guess.
Hey, got your steps in.
I definitely did. I was sore for several days after. I didn't realize how sore I got from walking. I wasn't wearing the best walking shoes neither, so that didn't help. But
Nice.
yeah, walking is huge, huge for me, and looking around are both big.
I like taking walks on the beach. Oh, the beach is just like my happy place. Every time I go to the beach, I feel like it is a reset for me. And that is probably like the best thing for my mental health. It's just like going to the like it's such a different atmosphere there, I swear. And like you mentioned just going outside too. And I wanted to ask, can you smell the sun? Like, do you know that there's like a specific scent that like you come in from outside and you can like smell the outside?
I know the scent, like when your clothes are warm. I know that feeling and scent,
Okay.
but I don't know if I've ever been able to smell the sun while
Okay.
outdoors.
That's so interesting because like I feel like every time that I go outside, it literally like changes you. I don't know. Like the atmosphere is different.
Hmm.
And the beach too. There's like the air.
Well,
It's so
the
cool.
beach for sure, because it's all salty and like
Yeah.
water. I feel like smelling the sun, that might be a
But
you thing, but I don't.
no, no, no. I'm gonna look this up later and I'm gonna send you some
You
research
said, does the
articles.
sun have a smell to it?
No, like it attaches and it's just like, I don't know, like totally bright. The sun literally brightens me up when I go outside, with sunscreen, of course.
Of course, of
Um,
course.
yeah, I have to wear sunscreen. It's
Yeah.
well, everybody should wear sunscreen. Keeps you youthful, blah blah blah. But
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Beach, happy place, great place for me.
I was talking with a friend today about, I think a few episodes ago, you talked about how getting out early in the morning to get sunlight within like first 15 minutes of waking up is so important. And she was like, "Oh yeah, I kind of had to do that today because she woke up like really late for class. So she was like, she was out the door in 5 minutes. She's like, yeah, I mean, I did it like not voluntarily. I was like, well, it's good for you at least. That's
Got out there. You
Mhm.
getting the? Have you done it actually since it was?
No, I keep forgetting,
Okay.
and I also just don't want to because it's so.
It's cold sometimes.
And I love slow mornings and just taking my time to get ready and not rushing out the door. So I always forget stuff too. I'm very forgetful when it comes to like leaving the house, but that's a story for another time. We're talking about stress relief, and that induces stress when I forget things. Any other mental health tips and breaks you take other than?
I do journal a lot.
Oh, that's a
Uh,
great one.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. I feel like it's been like thrown around, but something I started doing because I feel like the idea of journaling is mostly like, hey, this is what I did today and like this is how I felt, is starting to kind of dissect it a little bit more of like, why did you do those things you did today? And why did you feel the way you did? And asking myself that and then starting to like notice patterns or be like, oh, cool, I want to do more of that. Like that made me really happy today. So I'm going to like try and find a way to work that into my schedule more versus just being like, today I went to the store and then I came home and that was my day. See you tomorrow,
Mhm. Dear diary.
Yeah, like I wanted it to be a little bit more insightful. So I've tried to like ask myself a different question every time so that it's like more of like a self-discovery or just relieving something that might have been really frustrating for me that day and trying to like start the next one with the lessons I learned and just like how do I move forward?
Yeah, as soon as you started talking about journals, actually, the thought of like discovering patterns popped into my mind also. Then you said that, and I'd never thought about that before with journals. So I've like never concretely kept a journal, I guess. Like from here and there, I'll like write about some stuff I'm thinking about, and I'll just like notes app it.
I have 5,000 notes on my app, so I am obsessed with my notes app too.
Mine started taking up a lot of storage, actually. I'm like concerned.
Ever since you could add photos to it, it just got out of control for me. I'm like making the graphs.
The problem is that the majority of mine are like just grocery lists that I've already done the grocery trip for. I just don't delete the note afterwards, so it's like just an old grocery list I have. But like definitely recognizing patterns within your journal entries is seems like a very, very valuable tool. And yeah, to see what you enjoyed in a given day, to see what makes you stress, like to see how you helped with that is huge. I've seen also certain journals have prompts in them they can get, and which I think you kind of have started doing yourself.
Yes, I feel like I just go on Pinterest and I look up like 31 questions and I'll just like pick one. Like I don't save them because I'm like, oh, like I'll just find something new
Yeah.
every day, and like it's a fun little adventure for me as well, just to be like, oh, like this is what I should think about today. Unless like there's actually something that really like stuck with me that day, I will probably focus on that. Like and let it go to the paper. And then I just like, okay, it's out, it's on the page, it's out of my head, and I feel like it's like a good relief, especially because personally I have a hard time kind of like opening up and trusting somebody, as we were kind of talking about earlier, of like this is what it's going on, and like having the personal space to put that is just so helpful for me, and it's been really nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know some people have that journal mindset, or I guess I don't know the word, like process of where they'll write something down on paper that's really been bothering them, and then like rip out the piece of paper, crumple it up, and throw in the trash, and it's kind of like I'm done with this now.
Right.
I've always liked that idea of like, or even just writing down on journal, then like closing the book and being like, that's over. I'm done
Yes.
with it. It's out of my head.
It is literally closing that chapter of
Yeah,
your life, essentially. Yeah.
that's really great. Yeah.
I also just love stationery. I don't know if I've talked about that before, but my I used to really want to work at like Staples, Office Depot, like anywhere that sold office supplies. So
Thunder
me,
Mifflin. Just
yeah, yes, yes. Me finishing a journal is like incentivized by me being able to like go pick out another one, because I'm a completionist and I have to finish every single page. Like every front and back has
oh
to be filled. Like it just is a thing. So I just love the more I write, I'm like, yes, the more I learn about
yeah.
myself, the more I get to reward myself.
Mhm.
That's
I
also a pattern I discovered.
love rewarding yourself with journals. I also actually really, really love journals. I have, I think, like 5 or 6 at home. I got one for Christmas this year, and it's so nice. I'm like, oh, this is so nice. And I haven't written any of them, but I love shopping for them. I love buying them. And I just never write in them, but I'm like, this would be great to write in. Like, I can tell
Yeah.
this would be awesome to write in. Like,
One day. You have
someday.
to find the right pen though.
Yeah,
That's it.
I'm a smudger when I write though. That's the problem with me. So I need like a quick dry pen or pencil.
Nice. Pencils,
Yeah.
pencils like kind of like a go-to.
Yeah. But yeah, a journal is awesome. One that's less awesome, I feel like we can address as well, though, is just sitting on your phone, which I do a lot. And it does help to an extent. There are times where I just need that break from studying where I don't want to be completely like in my own head still. And so I'll just like sit on the edge of my bed or just sit on a chair and like just scroll through my phone. And it's tough because that 10-minute break turns into an hour very fast. It turns into an hour
Are
very, very
you
fast.
are you one of those people that's like, I'm gonna be done at 1 o'clock, scrolling my phone, and then you like look up and you're like, it's 1:03? All right.
Yeah.
Guess I have 17 more minutes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I missed the deadline. Well, I might as well keep going. Or it's like, oh, like I always forget that like pretty much the basis for most videos is 1 minute on Instagram.
Okay.
Like not, I guess not like all of them, but I feel like the majority of videos I watch are like a minute. And
Okay.
minutes add up very fast. Because I'll be like, oh, it's like
I've only watched
3:45.
10 videos. I need
Yeah,
to watch more.
exactly. It's like I'll be like it's 3:45. I'll just like scroll through like 5 posts, and then 5 posts go by, and it's 3:50. I'm like, how'd that happen? Like, how was it 5 minutes? Oh yeah, they're a minute each. Well, okay. Um, but there are times where I think just being on your phone, and if it makes you happy, especially, that's the biggest thing, is like if that doesn't also induce stress of like, I know FOMO is a huge thing when you're on your phone, You see other
Yes.
people doing fun things, and you're inside. Especially like being a sit kid, there were a lot of times where we weren't able to go out and do these things, or like we'd see friends like having sleepovers or at the party, and we're like, I can't.
That used to be such a big trigger for me was it was like my first week of treatment and it was this girl's birthday and I didn't get invited and I saw it all on like Instagram and I literally was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna cry." Like it was so sad to me. And then I was like, "Why didn't they even invite me?" And they're like, "Well, we didn't want you to feel bad if you weren't invited." I was like, "I feel worse that I saw it all." Like I don't know. So yes, being very mindful of your social media consumption, I think is probably very important. And I think the algorithms have gotten really great to curate like kind of what you want to look at, but also knowing when like you should stop and consider like, is this actually being helpful or is it kind of causing me more stress and anxiety and other feelings?
Yeah, it is a very, very quick downward spiral that you can fall into. But
Yes.
also it can be helpful because you can like discover like new hobbies too and stuff, which is a great way to relieve stress and help with mental health as well. Just discovering new hobbies that you like rather than just like it's great to reflect on what you do enjoy already, but also going out and trying new things to find new ways to help you not necessarily cope, but like just address things that you're going through or help yourself out, uplift yourself. I think new hobbies are a great way to do that as well.
Yes, I actually picked up crocheting because of my
Whoa.
feed. So I've like now look up YouTube videos. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna figure this out now.
Crocheting is awesome. I've seen so many people make those like fun little like floppy hats and stuff.
Yes, and they go so fast. It's so fun. And I used to finger crochet is like what they called it when I was in Girl Scouts, and then I like kind of stopped. So now I found all my like finger crochets and I can actually make them into something and I'm like the coolest person now. So
Your like younger Milan would be so proud of me.
I'm like, yeah. My other hobby kind of like not really like on my phone but kind of still involves like media and like just the other way to like relieve stress is just like watching a show or a movie and just like checking into that and it's great.
One of the shows I've been watching, I've realized that some shows cause me stress. Which there's one Silicon Valley. It's oh gosh, I'm 5 seasons in now. There's only 6 seasons, so I'm almost done. But it is so stressful watching it. I don't enjoy watching it, and I don't know why. It's one of those shows I kind of keep watching just because I started it already. But it's also one of those shows where everything goes wrong all the time.
Yeah.
As soon as there's like some upper momentum, it just everything goes wrong, and oh, I get so anxious watching it. I don't enjoy watching it, and I feel bad afterwards. But I still come back every time, and it's just so I don't watch that if you get easily stressed out. But same with Curb. I can never watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. I refuse to watch that one. That one stresses me. But
Yes.
silly little fun shows I really enjoy watching.
Yeah. And just like throwing it on and being like, I don't have to have any thoughts and just like watch this and it's great. But like also recognizing, okay, I don't need to binge watch this right now. Because I feel like binge watching has like ruined the experience of like in consuming media in like a proper manner and actually having like conversations about it. And I think that's why it's like so great to build the community of being able to be like, hey, did you watch this episode? And you could be like, I did. I'm like, let's talk about it.
Yeah, in reality TV, I mean, you and I were talking about The Bachelor
Yeah,
earlier for
it's great.
minutes, if not hours. And it's that, yeah, it's once a week, and so it's perfect. The Last of Us is coming out on HBO every
Yes.
week, and that one is huge too. Because that's HBO always does great like weekly shows. I feel like they still do that, and they've kind of mastered that technique of like
Right.
the weekly Sunday night show you talk about on Monday with your friends.
Yeah. And
And
especially like I think that's great too of like if you aren't at the level of friendship yet to establish the trust where you're like, let's have a deep conversation. You're like, why don't we just hang out and calm down and chill and watch something together and we can bond that way? And it kind of like builds a new like level to your friendship or
mhm.
relationship, whatever.
Yeah, being able to
Yeah.
relate and connect over things, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think movies, media, or like even sending videos to your friends, I think is super fun too. But on top of that, though, is kind of recognizing when people are being supportive or like just healthy to you, and being able to know when it's time to maybe like step back from a friendship that is causing you to feel more anxious or stressed out, or just not like really being a positive influence in your life, is a huge thing for anybody's mental health. But, as kids who have suffered from like feeling left out or anything, of just like, hey, you're not really being a really positive person in my life right now,
Yeah.
knowing when, okay, let's put pause on that
It's that's
or
a
talk about it.
it's a really really hard thing to not only recognize but also definitely to address.
Hmm.
Like both aspects are very hard because if they're your friend, and so it's hard to like tell yourself and convince yourself maybe this person isn't the best influence or the best like person to be around right now for me, and like recognizing that and telling yourself that is hard in and of itself, but then having that conversation with the person is also a very very difficult thing to do, but it, like you said, it's very very important because after all it is you're living with yourself,
Hmm.
so you have to do good by yourself
Right.
before you can do good by others. And yeah.
And who you hang out with is like really important, because it does impact, how you interact in life, and who you are friends with, kind of slowly becomes kind of who you are.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think that like if there are some people who are really taxing on your mental health and well-being, that it's like, okay, recognizing that. And maybe, you take up journaling, or you like stress relief after you hang out with that person, if you don't feel like you can comfortably be like, hey, like, I don't know if like right now I can fully commit to being your friend, whatever you need to say. But I just think recognizing like who you surround yourself with, and if they're like a good person
Yeah.
to keep hanging out with. Because, if you leave hanging after you hang out with them and you don't feel great about yourself, like that's not really worth the mental gymnastics you're gonna do.
No, definitely not. And I like, yeah, as you were saying, the more you hang out with someone, the more you kind of like mold into them as well. And I definitely have noticed that with like if I hang for a certain friend for extended periods of time, if I see them every day for a week, I'll start picking up on their tendencies. Or even if I watch a certain show for like if I binge a show or keep watching a show over and over, I'll pick up
The
certain like,
personality of the
yeah.
person.
And I know some people try to do that too. Like my friend, he'll watch a movie and he'll see someone in it that's like he thinks is really cool, and he'll be like, "I want to be like them." I'm like, "You should just be yourself. Like, don't do that." He's like, "No, I'm gonna be like him." I'm like, okay, good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is huge to surround yourself with good people. Another big mental health and wellness upper, I suppose, is surrounding yourself with good music.
I was just gonna say that
Yeah.
like that's also very important.
Yeah, I just actually, I don't know if you can see it here. People watching right here. It's a brand new record player. Yeah.
Congratulations!
Thank you. I found it at a Marshalls nearby.
What's your first record gonna be?
Oh, that's a great question. I have so many at home now that I forget what I have. I know a few Christmases ago I got the Smooth Criminal album, the
Oh
Michael
my
Jackson,
gosh.
where he's in his all white suit, laying with a little tiger next to him, or a snow leopard, maybe.
That's one of my favorite songs, A Smooth Criminal. Oh my
Great
gosh.
song. Yeah, but I am very, very excited. I haven't set it up. I've had it for like a week now. Still haven't set it up. Don't really know where to, but it's gonna go somewhere in the apartment. The roommates are very excited. They have actually there's a Beatles record. I think Abbey Road is out in the living room. It's kind of just like a wall decor
Ooh.
piece right now. But they're like, you can play it. I'm like, sure. So that might be the first one we
Yes.
play.
That'll be a great first record. I actually want to take this time to acknowledge both a great person to have in your life is Matthew, and a great person to also go to the record store with, because Matthew found my favorite record ever, Frankie Valli. I had a huge thing about it that I like needed to have this record, and he found it, and it is literally the one of the coolest ones I own because it's so reflective. And if you're watching the YouTube video, you can see it. So go subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're not.
Yeah.
Little promo. But Matthew is a great person, to hang out with, and we talk a lot. Obviously, we have a podcast,
Yeah, a lot of talking.
but that's probably one of like the best things ever, and it was so nice that like when we were like hanging out, he found it, and it's such a great story. So yes, music and friendship is really great.
Yeah, seeing your face light up. I remember when I pulled it out. Like I kind of like I knew you won something Frankie Valley that day. I think we got a CD also. No.
We did. I have
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah. And so I remember like I knew you wanted something Frankie Valli, and I wasn't sure like how I didn't know how much of an obsession it was. And so I remember pulling it out and I was like, I found this. I kind of was like slow, I was like, I found this, and you're like, oh, like your eyes just whoa. Like,
Well, we had been in there for so long that I think we were kind of like, okay, I guess we're
oh,
gonna
there were a
like.
million CDs
There
and
was
records.
so much.
There was no organization whatsoever.
I feel like they tried, but it just didn't get there. But
It didn't.
oh my gosh, we took pictures with it after. I was so excited.
That was so funny. But I want to say the same for you. Actually, you're a great, great person to have
Aw.
around and to talk to, and it's very easy. And this podcast wouldn't work if it wasn't easy. So
Thank you.
very glad to have you in my life, and you help my mental health, I think, quite a
Aw.
bit. You have all these great tips that I like. I people think of and people suggest, but it's like you say it in a way that I'm like, yeah, that does make
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any song suggestions for this episode? Off the top of your head, maybe.
As a matter of fact, I do. I have been listening to this band that I found very, very recently. I love music. It's like, it's the best, and finding new songs and new bands that you're passionate about is the best feeling. I've been on such a hot streak lately, like such a hot streak with finding new groups. Like, they're not all new, but they're new to me, and they're all more perfect than the last. And this one that I just found, which seems like they're also a relatively new band. It's the song is called Well Enough, and it's by a band called The Whips, and it's also featuring Aidan Connelly. But like sometimes it's okay to just be well enough, and like you want to be good, but in order to be good, you gotta be okay, and so it's okay to be well enough. But this song is just whew, the Whips, they are so good. They are so talented. Their other song, I'll recommend it later as well, because I mean it's also just incredible. Broken. I listened to like 5 times yesterday, just back to back to back, and but yeah, well enough is the horns and the guitar and the bass and the drums. Oh my gosh, it's
I
awesome.
was gonna say the like saxophone on that. I mean, if it is a saxophone, the horn instrument was so good. I loved it. Oh my gosh, it's such a great pick for you. And like now you got me looking up the whips.
No, I mean I was very excited. I was saving this one. I was gonna recommend them last week, and I was like, but I wanted to have a special moment between the two of us. The Whips and I, not you, Milan.
Okay.
And I just want to do them justice and want to get them the recognition they deserve, because they are up and coming and they are incredible. And so huge shout out to the Whips. Wishing you
Yes,
all the
and
best.
this actually highlights the power of music, of like being able to be so excited about just listening to music and relaxing, and like, it really helps your mental health just enjoying a good song. So
It's such a good feeling. I feel so like energized and happy right now talking about something that I'm like passionate about, and just even when you and I were picking our songs and talking about them earlier, it's like that feeling of like just so happy. It's a
yes.
great, great feeling. So yeah, huge shout out to the Whips. Listen to their music. This one's called Well Enough. Really like it. My other song is another band. I believe I recommended them a few weeks ago or a few episodes ago, and I cannot say enough about them. It is St. Paul and the Broken Bones. They are phenomenal. Just they have incredible horns and just incredible vocals and incredible drums as well. And this song, I believe, is a Spotify exclusive. So
It is. I
that's
would
a
know.
little, yeah, unfortunate to those who use Apple or other music services. But the song is called "A Change Is Gonna Come," and it's featuring Lizzo as well. And this song is a pretty old song. Sam Cooke has sang it. Otis Redding has sang it. Lots of different artists have sang it. But this one, oh my gosh, Lizzo has just her.
She
Oh,
is powerful.
when she just comes in after like the intro bridge,
Yeah.
your jaw dropped when you.
I
we
know.
were
I
on
heard
the
it. I was
call.
like, I love it. It was you have great picks today. I have to admit, like hands down.
I'm really happy with my picks this week.
Take the cake.
Yeah.
Like it was so good. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Like I was a little frustrated that it was only on Spotify. I'm an Apple Music user, I know, but like I was a little bummed that it was only on Spotify because that would be like my most listened to today.
it's been one of my most listened to the past weeks. I can't get enough of it, and just it's a live performance too, so you hear the crowd react to, and Lizzo and St. Paul, they both talk to the crowd at certain points in the song. It's just it's beautiful, it's amazing. But yeah, regarding mental health and wellness, it's like sometimes you need to make a change, and so a change is going to come, and if it hopefully it's a beneficial change to you and how you feel and what you're working through. So yeah, a change is going to come.
Nice. Yeah, great picks. Great picks. A little nervous to go after you there. My first one is If I Can Dream by Elvis. I recently watched the Elvis movie and then I went through his entire discography, which also marks off one of my New Year's goals. So that's great.
Awesome.
And
Yes.
I just really like this song, and I think it's great because, you know, it's always nice to have a dream or a goal to look forward to and work towards. And I think that helps put your mental health, you know, at a good point of like, hey, this is a benchmark and I want to be here, and like this is how you can do it. And it's a really pretty song. He has an amazing voice, and the Elvis movie was good. So
I've been meaning to watch the Elvis movie. I've been meaning to listen to Elvis too. He's definitely one of those artists. I feel like a lot of people, or just everyone, knows Elvis. Like you didn't even say Elvis Presley. You said it's by Elvis.
No,
It's just implied.
Yeah, it's you know.
But he's like one of those people. Yeah, everyone knows. Like I know him. Like I know him so well, or of him so well, but I've never listened to him. And it's kind of like one of those things where it's like I mean I know his like famous songs,
Yeah.
the ones that like yeah, but I don't know his other stuff, and so listening to this, it was very pretty. I didn't know he had that side to him of that like.
I didn't actually know how much music he recorded. Like it was a lot to go
Yeah,
through.
when you said
Like,
whole discography, I was like, whoa, that's.
it was like 2 days that it took me because I actually listened to the songs all the way through. I didn't just like skip around because I used to do that. But no, like I took the time to like really try and be like listening. So,
Yeah, very good, very nice song, very nice song.
yes. And then my other one is Hope You're Okay by Olivia Rodrigo. I have been waiting to recommend one by her. I really enjoyed her Sour album, and this song is what closes out the album, and it's just like kind of like setting you up to be like, hey, I hope you're okay, and let's kind of like look forward to something new, and I really like that.
Yeah, no, it's very. I mean, when the album came out, I think you texted me the day of or the day after, and then every day after that, telling me to listen to the album.
Yes.
Until I listened to the album, you would text me every day saying, "Have you listened to it? Listen to it. Have you listened to it?" Like every single day for it probably took a few weeks for me to listen to it, and every single day. And then as soon as I said I listened to it, you're like, "What'd you think? Well, how was it?"
Yeah.
Oh. For those listening, Milan just held up 2 vinyls of Olivia Rodrigo.
I love her so much, and I just it was such a good album, and I'm happy you finally listened to it, even with my incessant reminding.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things you had to talk about, but
And we did, and now she is working on our next project.
yes, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next episode, and hopefully you come back and tune in. And as always, the Wish Kids wish you well.
We would also like to thank all of our wonderful nurses and doctors that we've had along the way and remind you that they are healthcare professionals, not us.
Please keep in mind, any medical information or stories shared and discussed in this podcast are based on personal experiences and are not meant to serve as medical advice. Please talk with your doctor about any medical concerns, questions, and guidance, as they are trained medical professionals.
Any brands, corporations, trademarks, or characters in the show, even those based on real people, are purely fictional.
The Wish Kids wish you well.